Hi guys, this is Mishel with Deception Bytes, and I'm just picking up where we left off yesterday, talking about the Q posts, and we left off right here with this post, November 21st, asking what does the owl represent to certain cults? Well, we know that for one thing, the owl represents the god, small g, Moloch, who is a god of human sacrifice. The ancient Phoenicians and the Canaanites used to sacrifice their infants to the god Moloch, and he goes by other names, including Baal. And I'm sure you've heard of Baal worship. That's what that was. So we know that Bohemian Grove has an owl as their mascot. Some secret societies do as well. But I'm going to go out as well and just give you a little bit of a background on the owl if you're not aware of it. So, although Justin Bieber, who put one on his arm, and other celebrities such as Drake, who has the image on his back, display inked tributes to the owl with no apparent explanation, there is a significance to this symbol that has ties to the occult and the Illuminati, and I think most, if not all of us, know that. Celebrities aren't the only ones to embrace the creature. Read some of the Harry Potter books and you'll see a connection. The winged creature that many view as a representation of wisdom actually has a range of associations that include secrets, mystery, mysticism, and a connection to the underworld. Keeper of secrets. It's not a coincidence that the owl serves as a symbol of the secret society called the Bohemian Grove, an elite men's club with members who represent influential movers and shakers in an array of industries, including the arts and politics. The club has been shrouded in a cloud of mystery that heightens the perceived notions of member activity, since those who participate are known to have wealth, power, and influence as an asset. For example, former U.S. President Richard Nixon spoke of attending Bohemian Grove events and even mentioned the secret club in the Watergate tapes. The Bohemian Grove incorporates the owl, and the bird serves as a mascot of the club, standing as a symbol of knowledge. Because of this, and I don't believe that they're using the owl as a symbol of knowledge. I think they know full well that the owl is symbolic of Moloch, and Moloch is the god of human sacrifice. And if you want to see an interesting video, in case you haven't seen this already, now this was quite a while ago, but Alex Jones actually broke into the club and was able to film quite extensively what goes on there. So you might want to look that up on YouTube if you haven't seen it. So because sacrifice, now they say they're not sacrificing a real human being, and probably it is just an effigy, but still. So you can check that out. But again, I don't believe that they're using that mascot as a symbol of knowledge. I really don't, unless it's dark knowledge. Because of this, a hollow owl statue that stands 40 feet tall is positioned at the head of the lake found at the Grove. Constructed of concrete over steel supports, the sculpture is known as the Owl Shrine, and what is a shrine for? To worship, and was designed by two-time club president Hag Patagian, who built it during the 1920s. Less than 10 years later, the Owl Shrine is said to play a role in what is called the Cremation of Care ceremony that allegedly takes place every year. The Native Americans also see owls as being the keeper of sacred knowledge, as well as value the bird's ability to see at night. It is this characteristic of the creature that Native Americans call upon during ceremonies when a vision of secret knowledge is needed. A messenger of secrets. In cultures such as the West Africans and Aboriginal Australians, the owl is viewed as a sort of messenger of secrets that has ties to sorcerer. It should be sorcery. For some, the bird is believed to serve seers, mystics, and those who work for the magical arts. The owl also serves as a symbol related to the guardianship of the underworlds and a protection of the dead, as seen in cultures such as the ancient Egyptians and the Celtics. When it comes to the Bavarian Order of the Illuminati, owl symbolism played a role with the secret society associated with the Minerval Academy, known as one of the early foundations of the society. There have been medallions and other artistic depictions that have incorporated the owl to represent the Minervals. Only a few examples of such medallions exist, which were worn around the neck of Minerval initiates. The design centered on an owl holding an open book. So, yeah. And in Western and Central Europe, medieval beliefs often associate owls with being a witch or wizard in disguise. Just take a look at the Harry Potter movies. An owl named Hedwig plays a significant role as companion to the title character. The owl was a birthday present and is named by Harry, who picks it after reading a history of magic book. Hedwig delivers messages throughout the series of movies. However, in the 7th book, the Deathly Hallows, the owl is killed trying to save the wizard. According to the book's author, J.K. Rowling, the owl represents Harry Potter's innocence. Over the years, this kind of magical association related to the owl has led some to see the bird as the animal soul spirit linked to a witch wizard. So the next time you see a celebrity with a t-shirt depicting an owl, la la la. Well, here's the thing. This website isn't entirely correct because I think that they're looking at it from a different advantage point, but it gives you a general sense. But really, the owl is representative to the Illuminati, at least, of the god Moloch or Baal worship, because Baal stands for Satan. So, yeah, there's a lot in that I could get into, but for the sake of brevity, we will continue. Now, just 1 minute. I have got to take a drink. It is about minus 24 degrees here. I just took the garbage out and I could not believe how cold it is. And it's supposed to go down to minus 30 or below tonight. So, yeah, I think I'll just stay in and warm. November 21st. Anonymous. Now, this is not Q posting. This is just someone on 8chan that's posting. And they're making a reference back to a post that we went over the last time. And where is it? I don't know if I can find it easily. Anyway. The post, I know for a fact we went over the post yesterday, and this is making note of that and is basically, Q said something about Act 2, Scene 4. And this person is asking him, the same scene in Macbeth talks about a falcon flying freely before being ambushed by an owl. It is noted that the owl does not normally hunt the falcon. The scene continues to talk about many odd happenings and a darkness on the horizon for humanity. It is noted that even the horses are rebelling and turning upon one another, specifically eating each other. Yummy. It is possible that the Clintons have turned on the Rothschilds. Is it possible, is it possible that the Clintons have turned on the Rothschilds? The fly, eagle, fly may be a veiled threat directed towards the Clintons, a we know type thing. Sorry, I don't know why I'm having trouble reading tonight, except that this is my 3rd day of turkey. And, well, turkey makes you very, very sleepy. I'm telling you, it really does. Okay. So we're going to go on from there because he's basically just asking Q a question here. And then this is how Q responds. What does the owl represent to certain cults? And we just went over that. So, yeah. And we'll go to the next one. And again, this is an anonymous, someone from, the 4chan or the 8chan. This is actually from 8chan. And they are trying to engage Q in conversation to get information. So this in the box belongs to an anonymous who is just, trying to prod at Q to get some information. They're saying, confirm green sky equals giving an order to Captain Green to do something to the Rothschilds. Q gave us this crumb beforehand and also wrote a message to LDR, we can hear you breathing. this was a map. Q told us the future shows the past, meaning that a future event, Captain Mike Green doing something with a helicopter to Rothschilds, will explain these keywords and confirm that Q knows top secret information. Green, obviously a good guy, had a mission. We don't know what exactly he was supposed to do, but it had something to do, it had to be something very serious because bad guys countered very seriously and killed several people. Mission failed. Now, Q does respond, but all he does is just acknowledge that he's seen this. He doesn't really respond to it, per se. So we're going to go on. Now, the next post is this, and we're getting into something interesting here. Q says, their need for symbolism will be their downfall. Now, using these symbols, and when I say these symbols, he is talking about the owl and the Y. Okay, now if you don't know what the Y is, I'm sure you've seen an uptick lately in horns. It seems like that's the thing, like antlers, horns, hanging them on your wall. I mean, it's everywhere. It's in music videos. It's just everywhere. And this is what is known as the Y, see, because you've got the horns. Yeah, that's the Y. So the owl and the Y, that's symbolic of Baphomet, who is Satan, Lucifer, representative of Lucifer. So that's what he's referring to as in the owl and the Y. Okay. Their need for symbolism will be their downfall. Using these symbols publicly allows them to identify each other, telegraph their allegiance, and place in the hierarchy of the cult and cabal. It also allows us to identify the same thing for our own purposes, purging the filth. This will be their downfall. See, they have this need for symbolism. It's how they communicate with one another. It's how they show their status, their allegiance, everything, where they are in, their place in the hierarchy, everything. They use that all. Symbolism is everything. But it has a downside for them because once we're aware of their symbolism and can look for it, then we're able to also identify them. So, yeah. Now, follow the owl and Y head around the world. Now, if you look around the world for owl symbolism or the horn symbolism, you're going to find it everywhere. You're going to find it on buildings, in places that you least expect it. In fact, it's unbelievable how many places the owl and the Y can be found. And I've really noticed an uptick in the Y symbolism, the horns. Really noticed a huge influx in that. So, identify and list. Now, he's saying identify and list, like list the places that you find this. Well, I mean, we would be here until next year at this time if I listed every place where we can find this symbolism. They don't hide it. And no, they don't hide it. The general public is not taught symbol literacy, and so while they see the symbols, they do not understand them. So the cabal, network, and cult have no need to hide them because most people don't understand them. I mean, we see the one-eyed symbolism everywhere, but can you convince some people that has a meaning? Oh, no, it's just people doing that. It's the thing, No. And yeah, there might be some people copying it and not really understanding what it means, but I think for the most part, they know exactly what it means, and it's how they identify one another. But it helps us to identify them too. They don't fear you. Well, that's quite obvious that they don't fear us. Now and it says you, and then Q says you are sheep to them, and I think we know that we're sheep to them. They consider the public to be gullible, unintelligent, easily led, easily pacified, and existing only for their pleasure and use. And we know that to be true. You are feeders. We're feeders to these people. The public feeds the cabal and cult with our money, time, attention, energy, and even our very lives. Human slavery, sex slavery, and even wars. So, yeah. And then he says, Godfather 3, Q. So, we're going to go on. Now, the next one is just a picture. Q just posts this picture of the Rothschilds, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was taken in 1972 at a party they had. And if you haven't seen these pictures, I really encourage you to go out there and just Google Rothschild party 1972, and a whole bunch of pictures will come up that will really have you shaking your head. So I think Q is just posting this so for us to see the horns, the Y symbolism here. I would assume that's why he posted it. Okay, and here he says, you are learning. You need a push. Godspeed, Q. So he's saying you need a push every now and then. By that, I think he's saying every now and then I have to give you some clues to kind of push you because you're not getting it. So that would be what that means. And now, November 22nd, an anonymous poster on 8chan wrote, my actual conclusion is probably what's delayed me the most, as it's been mind-blowing understanding our country now. I totally get it. Current conclusions. So Titanic, Rothschild screws America by making our money worthless, leading to the crash of 29, tons new government, which doesn't fit the problem Rothschild created, but a war helps, leads to the CIA, leads to everyone blackmailed with sex tapes, leads to media consumed CIA, leads to country forced hard left, leads to population to puppets, leads to causing uprising by certain patriots like Kennedy, Reagan, Trump. And while they managed to kill Kennedy and outlast Reagan, enough lessons were learned that we are now finally ready to clean house and become America again. First time in about 100 years. Wow. And Q acknowledges this post below by just pointing, see how this number 150414073 is the number of the post, and Q says at that person. So he's just acknowledging, okay, I've read this. Now, if he had something to correct there, he would have corrected it. So to me, it's basically an acknowledgement when he does that. So that's what I would assume. All right, now here's the next one, and it's a long one. Now, Q asks, identify symbolism, owl /Y. Okay, now, the owl, oops, I'm sorry. Where did I go? Down here. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little bit slow tonight, in all senses of the word. Okay, owl stands for Minerva, goddess of wisdom. Greek counterpart is Athena. Seeing in the dark, able to see what others do not, hidden wisdom, knowledge. Also stands for Moloch or Marduk, and also Baal, son of Sumerian deity. Enki, who demanded human sacrifices. It's Masonic. Yeah, we know that. Why? Considering the context, the implication is the stag horns. Photo of Baroness Rothschild wearing a golden stag mask, complete with horns. This is a perversion and a direct inversion of ancient traditions, as the king married the land wearing the symbolic stag head horns in an ancient ceremony. To put it on the female is to intentionally defile and degrade the traditions of the Britons and Celts. Some within the Abrahamic religions framework consider any Y-shaped horns to symbolize Satan, Lucifer, serpent. And as coming from a Christian tradition, which is, of course, one of the Abrahamic faiths, that's what I've always found it to correspond to, Satan or Lucifer. Now, next, Q asks, which performers or celebrities supported Hillary Rodham Clinton during the election? Well, oh my gosh, a lot. Like, a lot. I'm going to read some. I'm not going to read them all because we'll be here all night. Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, Madonna, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Amy Schumer, Miley Cyrus, Julianne Moore, Elton John, Jamie Foxx, Olivia Wilde, Adele, Steven Spielberg, Drew Barrymore, Kerry Washington, Ellen DeGeneres, Eva Longoria, Robert De Niro, but not related to the next question, okay? So Robert De Niro, let me see what the next question, okay, has not performed during her rallies. Bruce Springsteen, Sigourney Weaver, Meryl Streep, Demi Lovato, Dina Dunham, Ja Rule, Kim Kardashian, Magic Johnson, Miley Cyrus, Britney Spears. I mean, it just goes on and 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 on. And some of these are here twice, I see. Okay, so we get the gist, I think. I think we get it. So, who performed during her rallies? And, okay, these are the ones that, okay, no, this is the ones, that's correct. These are the ones that participated in her rallies or performed during her rallies. Lady Gaga, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Bruce Springsteen, Bon Jovi, Katy Perry, Chance the Rapper, Big Sean, or is it Big Scene? I don't know. I don't listen to that. J. Cole, DJ Samantha, Ronson, Madonna, and then it has the dates here. Okay. And I'm not going to go over all of that because it's long, very, very long, but just so that you can see. And I'll move down here. Now, what jewelry and or tattoos were present? And Q is meaning that while performing for her rallies, what jewelry and or tattoos were present on the performers? Well, the Eye of Horus, skull and crossbones. Beyonce wore a necklace resembling an owl. So, yeah. I'm not going to go out to all of these because I would like to get caught up with these posts, like sometime within the next century. Okay. Now, what other events do they attend together? Well, Spirit Cooking with Marina Abramovic, Bohemian Grove, Epstein Island, Lolita Express, Hollywood Events, Think Ellen 2014 Oscars selfie, musical events, the Super Bowl, concerts, YouTube rituals, Think Ice Bucket Challenge, anti-gun laws, false flags, Trump protests. They can openly display threats against Trump, yet none are indicted. Yeah, and I don't understand that, because if people had talked about Obama the way they talk about Trump, they would have been arrested. And you and I know that to be true. So, don't know. Now, what does Hillary Rodham Clinton represent to them? Well, she is a high priestess. She represents power, influence, control. She's the cog that connects all the power players. Rothschild, Saudi, Wall Street, satanic power in Hollywood and the media that push their careers and influence. I mean, it's pretty obvious what she represents to them, I think. And what celebrities have owl/Y head symbols? Now, I'm not sure. I don't know of any actual celebrities or politicians that have this. These are groups. These are not people. So I don't know. I really don't know celebrities or politicians that have this symbolism. Of course, I see it all the time. I see it even in magazines. I mean, I flip through a fashion magazine and the one-eye symbolism is everywhere. The stag horns are everywhere. These are just, it's the thing now. So it's everywhere. I think probably a better question would be, what celebrities have not had owl or Y symbolism attached to them? So what powerful groups? Well, that would be National Press Club, the Yale Club, Freemasonry, Bilderberg Group, Bohemian Club, or Bohemian Grove, Barclays Bank. The top of the Frost Bank building in Austin is designed to look like an owl. Also the clock tower at University of Texas. And I mean, this is just touching on it. Again, why are they worn or shown openly? Because they're hiding in plain sight. The public is not up to snuff on all these symbols and what they mean. And if you try to tell them, you're going to be called a conspiracy theorist. And they know that. They know that most of the people do not really understand what their symbols mean. So they're hiding in plain sight. The symbols are seen, but they're not understood. So there's no risk to displaying them openly. It's a method of signaling to others that they are part of an in-group and should be greeted and treated accordingly. And I notice it a lot. When people are speaking, they'll just start with the little signs, giving it the little signs to the audience, which signals anybody sitting out there that might be, a part as well, that who they are. I've seen it time and time again. And believe it or not, I've seen it in religious contexts of different preachers that have, that are well known, use that type of symbolism all the time, because a lot of them are Luciferian. Now, that's not to say that there isn't the real Christianity. There is, but it's been hijacked. And it's been a lot of the big names. I would probably say all of the big names have been infiltrated with Luciferianism. I don't know of any big name preachers that are not compromised. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm saying I don't know any. So let's just go on. Their need for symbolism will be their downfall, and he's repeating this again because it makes them identifiable. Mainstream media role? Well, the mainstream media's role is to label truth a conspiracy theory. Blinds the people, makes this type of entertainment normal, therefore providing power to the ones holding the ritual. And we know that a lot, like with the Super Bowls, with a lot of the awards shows and so forth, they really are performing a ritual on stage. But they can just kind of laugh about it under their breath because they know that 99% of the people won't understand what they're doing and the purpose of it and the power behind it. There is power to evil. People say, oh, well, greater is he that is within you. And that's true. Absolutely. That is true. But there is still a power in evil, and we need to respect it, and understand its power, because I've witnessed a lot of things in my life, and let me tell you, evil has a great deal of power. I know that that God has the ultimate power, but there is power in evil. Push conspiracy theory. So the mainstream's role is to kind of label the truth as a conspiracy theory, and then push that conspiracy theory, and saying, all these people are, like they're tinfoil hat wearers. The conspiracy theory label is used to marginalize alternative viewpoints and anyone who researches and finds information on topics that are dangerous or threatening to this network of bad actors and cult members. So if you are speaking the truth, you are automatically labeled a conspiracy theorist. Automatically. Because now that doesn't mean that every conspiracy theorist is speaking the truth, because I've heard some way out stuff that there's just no way. But in terms of this, yeah, they don't want anyone telling the truth about this stuff, so they marginalize them and call them crazy. Social media role, well, social media is to enforce conformity of thought and attitude, worldview, and culture. It elevates some persons and showcases, promotes certain ideas and ideals while hiding, suppressing, and censoring anything counter to that approved worldwide in accordance with the agenda of the cabal and their network of bad actors. So, you can see social media doing that. If you post something that the majority of people are not in agreement with, it's amazing how fast they will be all over you like bees on honey, and it's just they come out of the woodwork, and it's meant to get you into the groupthink mentality. Oh, we got somebody here that's they're not thinking according to the group. We better get on them, and we better surround them, and we better, do what we have to do to get them back in order here. And that's what happens. Okay. Push conspiracy theory and institute new rules allowing for ban. And that was Q's answer. He said social media role is to push conspiracy theory and institute new rules allowing for ban, or new rules rather, allowing for ban. The conspiracy theory pushed by social media companies is that there is a nefarious plot by far-right elements to oppress and degrade minorities. Therefore, anyone who does not wholeheartedly believe in and support enforced diversity and multiculturalism is an evil person who is a Nazi or a sympathizer. This allows them to paint broad swaths of people with a brush and enact policies to silence any dissent from the accepted or promoted view. The new censorship rules will allow monitoring, surveillance, not only off-site but also online, or not only off-site but also offline, for behavior that is not in conformity with their terms of service, and they will ban a large amount of users to enforce the echo chamber they have created, and that's exactly what it is. Any views or news labeled conspiracy theory is manually prevented by companies from trending. Hence, this news and information is being censored by Google, Twitter, and Facebook. With the new rules, only approved news is allowed to be seen and promoted. Hence, the truth will be suppressed and censored, which is Orwellian. And it certainly is. Okay. Just 1 second. Okay. Social media companies now accept that the EU laws on speech and will enforce those even on users who are based or located in the United States, bypassing the U.S. constitutional right of free speech for Americans. How do you feel about that? They're going by the EU laws on speech, and they're going to enforce them on us, whether we live there or not. So it is. Okay. Now, he says the graphic is key. And of course, we know that this is the Q map. It's the graphic that contains all of the posts on 4chan and 8chan. And it is made into a graphic, and that is what is being discussed here. Reread the graphic. Example, what family did Soros replace? Oh, gosh. I know that, and I can't remember. So next video, I'll have the answer for you, because the answer is back in one of our previous posts somewhere. What were they provided? Okay, part 2. He's saying part 2 of this post. How were they adopted into the cult as children? Well, they were basically, the children are born into this. It's multi-generational. And the children aren't really given, a choice. They don't say, would you like to, would you like to sacrifice human babies, or would you like to go to church and worship God? They don't have those conversations. So how were they adopted into the cult? Well, they weren't adopted into the cult. They were forced in. They were brainwashed, and they use MK Ultra type techniques on them. And what were they provided for obeying and staying silent? Well, they're provided with power, fame, riches, connections, celebrity, primal desires are fulfilled, their lives, their legacy. They're given everything. They're given the world. And then Q says, brainwashed? Well, yeah, of course. These poor people, these poor kids they're not given a choice. It's all they know. It's all they know. Now, Q says here, all that you know to be right is wrong. The cult runs the world. Fantasyland. It's interesting, when I realized that Luciferians literally were at the top echelons of every aspect of society, I don't know, I felt crazy myself, because I just couldn't believe it. But the more I looked into it, the more it was confirmed. And it's a very shocking realization when you come to it. Now, the most powerful people in the world are members of a very, very dark and evil cult. They form a cabal and have a network of bad actors through domination of finance, media, and industry, including education. They have ensnared the world. This cult is active in the worst activities known: human sex trafficking, including children, pornography, including of children, and snuff. If you don't know what a snuff film is, it's where they actually kill somebody on film for entertainment. Slavery, including sex slavery, drug production and trafficking, CIA and Afghan poppy fields that fund their beyond black operations, and more. The reality is almost too horrible to accept, and I concur with that. It is too horrible to accept. Fantasyland, the false views of reality portrayed by the media that the public believes in. This includes not only audio-visual media, but print media as well, publishing, such as textbooks, history books, and even science. Pop culture reference, the Matrix reality movie. Now, if you have not seen the Matrix movies, I think you should, because it will help you understand this stuff a lot deeper. It really will, because I remember the first time I saw the Matrix, I really got it right away, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is actually reality. They're portraying reality, except we're not in a computer simulation that I'm aware of. So the world is fighting back and destroying the cult, and I pray so. 20% public, 80% private. So here, Q is saying only 20% will be visible to the public. Whatever's going on, only 20% is going to be visible. The majority of the removal actions will not be visible to the public. We will never see it and never hear about it. And you know what? That's okay too. As long as we know what's going on and that this has happened, then that's good enough for me. Now, okay, the world is fighting back and destroying the cult. Some countries have created a low-key alliance to deny this cabal power and to remove them and their filth from power and take back our world. The public, thanks to the internet, being able to bypass the mockingbird media, are waking up at an ever-increasing pace, and they really, really are. Now, it says, And of course, then he went into the 20% public, 80% private, and he said the world would otherwise collapse. If all of the actions were public, mass hysteria, disbelief, economic chaos, and violence would result. The destabilization would be very dangerous, and other bad actors, including countries, would take advantage of this to impose their own nefarious plans and rule. Now, he's saying, Q is saying that he needed to give us the 40,000-foot view again. And remember, he did that before. He talked about the 40,000-foot view, and then he said, okay, we're going to come down lower now and look at things in detail. But again, he's saying he's pulled out, he zoomed out, and gave us a 40,000-foot view again. But he's saying now he needs to decrease the altitude to avoid conspiracy label. Was necessary, he said. And it's necessary to zoom out and focus on the larger picture again instead of all the various details, so that the members of the public who are discussing this and others who are awakening to this can avoid being tarred with the conspiracy theorist label and the information be dismissed out of hand. Focus on the big picture when educating others and helping them to understand. So, and then he says, Godfather 3, for God and country. Q. Now, I think I'm going to leave off there, because even though I have researched beyond there, I have not researched this post yet. So I think I'm going to leave off there for today, and we'll be back tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get a couple done tomorrow. So thank you so much for listening, and I really appreciate all you guys following this and being so polite, and I really do have fantastic viewers. So thank you so much, and have a good night. Talk to you soon.